Hey movie enthusiasts! Real Steel took everyone by surprise in 2011, surpassing expectations with its mix of robot boxing, heartfelt moments, redemption, family values, and much more. The buzz for a sequel started right after its release, but it's been 13 long years and we're still waiting for that follow-up. Going through the metallic realm, we unravel everything we know about the highly anticipated Real Steel 2. In the sequel, get ready for an exhilarating continuation of the futuristic robot boxing saga. Hugh Jackman will be reprising his iconic role as Charlie Kenton, bringing with him a whole new set of robotic contenders ready to fight for glory in the ring. The stakes are higher, the technology is more advanced, and the battles are even more intense. Real Steel 2 aims to take everything we love about its predecessor and crank it up a notch. Please take a ringside seat to all the latest updates on Real Steel 2. Real Steel imagines a near future where robots have replaced human boxers. Even though the movie is taking us to the future, the core of the movie is still from the past, where estranged father and son find themselves forced together and end up forging a deep bond. Real Steel was a science fiction sports movie released in 2011. The film starred Hugh Jackman and Dakota Goyer and was co-produced and directed by Sean Levy for DreamWorks. It was collectively adapted to the screen by John Gattins, Dan Gilroy and Jeremy Levin from a Richard Matheson short story called Steel. Hugh Jackman stars as Charlie Kenton, a former boxer who is hanging onto the fringes of the fight game as the owner-operator of a ramshackle robot he tours with. When the movie finds its pace in the robot fight, drama enters in the person of Charlie's son, Max Kenton, played by Dakota Goyer. He's just another smart, resilient preteen who seems to have been genetically programmed to understand computers, boxing, robots, and all allied fields, just like his father. Charlie is a very bad, absent father. In fact, he is very mean toward his boy. Charlie's ex-girlfriend's sister and her husband plan to adopt the boy, but in a complicated arrangement, Charlie first has to take care of Max for the summer. During a scouting expedition in a junkyard, Max finds an ancient training robot named Atom literally covered in mud. He was so impressed by the robot that he found, he talks to his father and convinces him this relic still has fighting potential. Amazingly, it hasn't entirely rusted away, and father and son rehab it and teach it some new tricks. One of its abilities is Mirror Mode, which allows it to mimic the motions of its controller. Since Charlie is a former boxer, Max has faith that Atom can win as his dad's avatar. All, of course, leads up to a match with a robot named Twin Cities. This fight scene between Atom and Twin Cities is as entertaining and involving as most human fights, and the off-screen story involving Twin Cities' owner trying to manipulate Charlie adds interest. It's hard to hate a robot, but not its owners. The robot fights in the movie were shot in such a way that it slows down the fight action enough so that the audience can actually perceive it and the boxing makes sense. They in fact win the fight against the Twin Cities, but their happiness doesn't last forever. Charlie's old debt from the county fair catches up with him. The movie takes an emotional turn when Charlie returns Max to their foster parents, thinking that he is not a great father. He doubted himself as a father and thought that Max would be in danger if he was with him. But the next day he shows up on the foster parents' doorstep and awkwardly apologizes to Max. They go to the championship fight, underdog against the undefeated world champion. There they have to fight with a fearsome juggernaut named Zeus. As the fight proceeds, Atom gets trapped in a corner and his voice recognition software gets destroyed. With the advantage, Zeus gets ready to end it. But the climax takes a turn when Max convinces Charlie to fight with a shadow function. Charlie and Atom strike back hard. Dealing blow after blow directly to Zeus, Charlie starts taking Zeus down for the championship and is stopped by the bell, ending the fifth and final round. Against the popular vote of the crowd, the judges vote in favor of Zeus, so he retains the crown, but Charlie and Max's bot Atom gets the honorary title of People's Champion. The movie was a blend of practicality and CGI, computer-generated imagery, which even earned the film an Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects. The public acceptance of the movie innately developed speculations about Real Steel 2. Now, 14 years after the original was released, Real Steel 2 still hasn't happened. Should we still count on Real Steel 2? The ending of Real Steel has laid all possibilities for a second installation. Atom's future in world robot boxing is seemingly cemented in the climax of the movie. The director of the movie, Sean Levy, had constant meetings with the co-chairman/CEO of DreamWorks, Stacy Snyder, in 2011. But there was no follow-up of a sequel till 2014, although the director did say that it was still being developed. We have been quietly developing a sequel to Real Steel for 3.5 years. We've come up with some great scripts, but you and I would only make it if the plot and characters' journeys feel fresh. And we found both, but never at the same time. It's ongoing. I know the clock is ticking, he said at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2014. Later, he commented that the delay in any progress was largely due to his overprotectiveness of the film's legacy. I really try not to make sequels that don't deserve to be. And it's why I didn't move forward with the Real Steel sequel, because I didn't feel we had a second movie that could match or top the first, he commented. We should assume that the hunt for the perfect script is still going on. Will Hugh Jackman and Dakota Goyo return for Real Steel 2? Dakota Goyo, who played Max Kenton in the original, has retired from acting. Hugh Jackman is currently involved with other movies. Hugh Jackman was critically acclaimed for the movie Deadpool 3, which is also being directed by Real Steel director Sean Levy just after Real Steel. Real Steel actor Anthony Mackie stated that he initially pushed for a sequel to happen and believed that the franchise could even get a spin-off exploring the underground boxing circuit shown in the first film. It implies the difficulty of getting the right story and the original cast back together. The chances of a Real Steel sequel continue to be slim. What can we expect in Real Steel 2? Real Steel ends its story with enough room for a new story to flourish. In the film, Charlie and Max get their rising star robot, Boxer Atom, involved in a marquee match against the more skilled and powerful robot Zeus. The fight gets intense, with Atom suffering damages that leave certain key functions sidelined and forcing Charlie, who operates Atom during fights, to shadow box with Atom, putting his skills as a boxer to the test to win the fight. Atom puts up a good fight, but Zeus ultimately wins. However, Atom is dubbed the People's Champion. There are plenty of ways to get this franchise back on its feet, whether it's picking up the story with an older Max or bringing Charlie back as the lead and involving him in a new story or something entirely different. There is a possibility that Charlie will regain his confidence in boxing. There is enough room in the audience's heart for yet another father-son duo. Now, what are the possibilities of a spin-off? The possibilities for a spin-off cannot be completely ignored. Charlie's early life is still a mystery to the audience. The fans will take up his early life as a boxer for sure. An older Max also holds a potential plot. Thanks a bunch for hanging out and exploring the narrow possibilities of Real Steel 2 with us. If you had a blast like we did, show some love with that like button and subscribe now to stay updated with the latest movie news. Cheers!